Oh, hello. How are you? Good. Today I'm going to answer a question that nobody really asks. How far can you go after your fuel light comes on? So first port of call before I try this experiment is I must retrieve my jerry can from my E39 BMW, which is still for sale if anyone wants it. So to the boot. Left the key for the BMW in the house. Scheisse. Damn. Wer ist die Nozzle? Oh yeah, Jerry. Okay, here we go. Let's see how far we go. So I have a camera set up here, keeping an eye on my fuel gauge. Is that recording? Yes, it is. Okay, so the light is yet to come on. So let's see how we get on, how long that's going to take. It's nearly on, but not quite. Okay, first port of call. We have to stop by the petroleum station. And is my steering wheel going to knock the camera? Only a little bit. We should be okay. Okay. It's not very set up very well. It's set up with some tape. So we'll see how long that lasts. Let's spray the windscreen, get that tree sap off. Lovely stuff. Yeah, so to the petroleum station to fill up the jerry can. Obviously now this is an experiment I wouldn't recommend to anyone to try. You shouldn't really run your car out of fuel. It shouldn't really happen. Nothing really too major should happen, but you could end up sucking loads of crap through the fuel pump. Now the fuel filter should do its thing, and the draining thing at the bottom of the fuel pump that should gather any crap that's in the bottom of the fuel tank. But yeah, you should avoid, if your fuel light comes on, get fuel. Basically, is the long and short of it. I tried this once before, many years ago, when I had my first 6N2 Polo GTI Reflex Silver, great colour, great paint scheme, and I managed to go 140 miles after the fuel light came on. I ran out of petrol, going down the coast road, and just managed to roll it into that. I assume it's a Topaz now. I think it was a Texaco at the time. On the coast road, I managed to. It cut out just meters before that petrol station, and I managed to coast it into the forecourt. That was more because I was a college student at the time, and I was trying to go as far as possible without having to buy fuel. This is just. The only reason I'm doing this is because this is a cheap Ford Focus. And also for, consumer advice, which will run out first, my batteries or my fuel. Nice enough day today. It was supposed to heavily rain yesterday, which it didn't really. As nice as it was, Monday was goddamn beautiful. These bloody meteorologists filling our heads with lies. Quite balmy though. This LX Ford Focus doesn't have any form of temperature gauge. What does my telephone say? The telephone says, fingerprint read, you bitch! Come on, 8 degrees. Feels warmer than that. There is a stiff breeze, cut right through you. One thing I've already noticed about having this camera set up in front of my steering wheel is I can't actually see my gauges. I can kind of see it through the screen of the camera. Very well. Why were you speeding, sir? Well, I'm making a crappy YouTube video, and my camera that's taped to my steering column is blocking my speedometer, so I didn't know how fast I was going. That would pass in court, wouldn't it? Assume it would. Hopefully we'll see some interesting cars out on this journey. because this could get very... Actually, just passing by here, there's a car park. We're just driving by here, and it has an E46 Touring. I think it's a 320D black, sitting in the very, very far space. Bit of a sad story. There was a guy living in it for over 6 months. He's no longer there, so hopefully that guy is gone on to better things, hopefully. But once he did leave, I finally went over and had a closer look at the 320D. It's got rusty arches, unsurprisingly. It's an auto, which isn't great, but also there was a guy living in it for quite an amount of time, so I'd imagine there's some interesting smells and substances in there. Now, not that I would ever do this, but since he's been gone, since you've been gone, who sang that? Kelly Clarkson. Yeah, I would never do this, but you know, we all have these weird fantasies, and for some reason, I feel like I want to burn it out. I obviously am not going to do that. I'm just saying, you know, I'm not a psychopath. Here we are now at the petrol station. I can't remember last time I filled up a jerry can. It's been a while. Jerry's filled up. I was going to put €10 into him, but he only fills. Yeah, I was going to put €10 into Jerry, but he only holds 6 litres, which came to €8.74, because fuel is 147.7 a litre at the moment. The world we live in. This used to be a Texaco, but now it's a Top Aisle. Okay, so here we go. Now we're going to go. This is it now. This is where the fun begins. Okay, so I'm going to head down the M50 and see how long it takes now for the fuel light to actually come on. There's very little fuel in the car, so hopefully it won't take too long. Okay, and then we'll reset. We'll reset the trip, and we will then see how far we go until it runs out of fuel. I'll come off the M50 once my light comes on, because one thing you do not want to do is run out of fuel on a motorway, because technically it's not legal to knowingly run out of fuel, especially on a motorway. Let's get up to motorway speeds. 70 miles an hour tops. Pretty refined. As I said before in my previous video, which I hope you watched, as I sit in the middle lane, which is a complete no-no. If you sit in the middle lane, when I come to power, you will be sent straight to the gulag. Woo! Okay, crosswinds in the Ford Focus, not its strong point. Woo! Yeah, this might take some time, so I brought a flask of coffee and my off-brand snack bar. Apple a day and all. Still no fuel light. I think this is going to be one of those a watched pot never boils kind of scenarios. Probably the most prevalent noise is tire roar. Now I do have, the back seats are folded up, folded down for my complete flat floor, because I did that in my last video and I haven't put them back yet because I don't have any children. The front tires in this are high flies, and the rears are constancy. And this is on this new quiet tarmac they've put down. But I'm going to blame the shit tires. At least they're matching on each axle. Speaking of the high flies, if you haven't been listening to my podcast, which you should be, it's on wherever you're watching this, you'll get the podcast as well. I was having a little bit of a spirited drive around the back roads the other day, and I came to this, as they say in rally speak, 90 right-hander. It's off camber. I wasn't going particularly quick around the bend, and I got a dramatic amount of understeer to the point where I thought I was going to go into the grassy embankment on the left-hand side. Whipped up the L handbrake. I managed to keep it going, but Again, I'm going to blame the high flies on the front, because at that same bend I had a moment of snap oversteer in my BMW 5 Series, and that's rocking high flies on the back. So, consumer advice for you: don't buy high flies. We're already 20 minutes in, according to this camera, and still no fuel gauge, or fuel life, I should say. My steering wheel mounted camera says it only has 30 minutes of battery life left, so come on, at least let me get the fuel light coming on at a minimum. Okay, I'm gonna have to take this exit from the M50 southbound because it's the last Dublin exit. Well, technically this is Bray North, so kind of breaking county lines here, but I'm not going to get out of the car and I'm turning around and going back. Will I continue back down the motorway, or will I go urban, suburban? Maybe I'll go suburban. Maybe this car is too economical on the motorway. Beautiful Bray. So I start using lower gears and more revs. Try and get this fuel light to come on. So I think that's why with a base spec cars, there's nothing I can turn on to try and increase the or decrease the fuel efficiency, I should say. Oh God, my dash mounted camera's now gone into 3 minutes. I don't even know if it's going to stay on long enough to capture the fuel light coming on. 1 minute left on the steering wheel mounted camera. Just pull over and just sit with my foot on the throttle in neutral until the fuel light comes on, banging it off the limiter. Quinns Road. Still no fuel light. Come on. Oh, there goes the dash-mounted camera. Bollocks. I'm gonna pull into this car park, see if there's anything I can do alternatively. Which one is I don't even know which one is the fuel light. Haha. I think I'm onto something. Okay, let's see how this works. Oh, for God's sake. Okay, here we go again. New camera, recording dashboard. Okay, let's try this again. New camera, my phone, recording dashboard. This is now stuck to windscreen again. Still no fuel light. Okay. Oh, fuel light! Fuel light! Reset trip. Okay, here we go. Right. Okay, the fuel light's on. Trip is reset. Here's where the fun begins. Ah! Okay. Get your guesses in. I'm gonna say 60 miles. I know my VW Polo from back in the day did 140, but you know Volkswagen and their numbers, not to be trusted. We're up to 1 hour and 4 minutes on that camera. I wonder what I can condense this down to now when I edit it, because I can't imagine anyone's going to want to watch this video for any more than 90 seconds. Power. That should use a decent bit of fuel there now. 25 miles. Okay, I'll try and re-stick my my dash mounted camera here. Press stop on the dash mounted camera. Try to stick it back down again. Now there's going to be a break in the footage. Y'all think I'm going to be lying to you now. I'm going to relieve my bells here. Piss break. Okay. You stay. Don't run out of fuel when I'm not inside you. That's not a euphemism. Okay. I'm going to use this opportunity to turn around because I'm just getting further and further away from home. And worst case scenario, seeing as there's nowhere to wash my hands, I'll use some of my Auto Glim hand sanitizer. Clean my hands. Safety first. I'm going to use this opportunity to turn around and head back towards civilization, because I really don't want to risk having to walk down this mountain. Surf dudes with attitude, kinda groovy. Theme tune to California Dreams there. Where did I put my prescription sunglasses? Cool dude! As I say, they're prescription. I'm short-sighted. Also, it's very sunny. Getting very hungry now. I don't even know if I have anything to eat in my house other than my dinner, which needs preparation. It's too early for dinner. Then again, I could be in the car for another hour and a half at this rate, if not more. Well, we're not too far off now, my estimate. It's a little over 3.5 miles. Come on. We are at, what are we at on the clock? We're coming up to 2 hours and 45 minutes on the record time on the clock. Oh, well, there goes the dash cam. So I can stop holding this. So there goes my phone as well. So hopefully no one needs to contact me in an emergency, or worse still, me have to contact someone in an emergency. Although I could put my SIM card into that, because that is also a phone. It's going to be the longest edit. It's going to be a struggle. But now I have to do it. I'm so invested, I have to complete this task. I'm noticing it. Oh, what's going on? 30 seconds! Oh, God. Okay, status report. The battery went in the camera. The battery went in that camera. The battery went in this camera. The battery has gone on my microphone, hence the drop in quality. I think there's a smear on the camera lens now as well. Anyway. But I managed to get home to get a charger for this camera, which is plugged into the 12 volts now, because we still haven't run out of fuel at 71.3 miles. I've been filming now for well over 3 hours. Really good use of my time. But I've come this far. I can't exactly stop now, can I? Maybe I should have saved this experiment from when I did have a long journey to go on. Because at least then I would have had to have covered all of these miles. And actually have gone somewhere. Rather than just literally driving around shitty suburban parts of Dublin. Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? What is this car running on? 75 miles. I'm so bored. I'm so bored. I'm hungry as well. Should have got some food when I went stopped in to get the charger. Strange how times change. Before I was legally allowed to drive, I used to love sneaking out in my parents' car, just driving around for a house. I would have just been doing this, and there was nothing better in life. Now I'd rather throw myself out of the car while trying to cool down a baked potato, Brian Harvey style. Another 15 minutes in since I turned the phone back on, turned the camera back on. So, geez, we must be pushing 4 hours at this point. So what are your estimations now? We're at 76.4 miles. So I was completely wrong with my 60 anyway. I'm going to say 85 now because it's not that far away of a number. I hope it's before then. There's this Speaker Connolly, if you ever want to come to Furhouse. It's our local pub. It's a bit shit. Well, there's an M3 saloon. That's on British plates, but see if we can get it in the background there. There it is. E90. I said as well, I'm making a bolognese tonight, which, you know, isn't the work of a minute. I also planned on doing this today because the weather wasn't supposed to be great, but now it's lovely out. and I've been stuck inside my Ford Focus for a large chunk of the day. Oh! We've run out of fuel. I think we've run out of fuel. Yes. No power. No power. Car is off. Let's see if I can roll it into this parking space. Oh, come on. Yes! Success! Make sure we've definitely run out of fuel. So it does try and turn over, but then it initially cuts out again. So we made it to, get the steering wheel out of the way, 83 miles on the button. Let me just get my camera down here. There we go, people. 83 miles on the button since the fuel light came on. It tries to turn over. In neutral I am. And then just automatically stops. Okay, so we are out of fuel. So let's try and put the fuel in from the jerry can and see if it starts. And I haven't absolutely fucked it. Okay, let's see. Jerry! Let's turn off the ignition now to open the fuel. So German for jerry can is Kraft Stoff Canister. I think the French win this one. Bidon d'essence. There's my hand sanitizer because I've got fuel all over my hands there now. Yup. Oh god. That's actually probably a good hand sanitizer. It's not great for the skin though. Okay. So that's one part of the experiment. The worst part done. Will it start? First turn of the key. And the fuel light is still on with my 6 point whatever litres of fuel that I put into it. Perhaps I'll actually get some more fuel from the petrol station now. But there you have it, 83 miles after the fuel light came on. This absolutely wasn't worth it, but if you've managed to make it through this video, if I've managed to actually edit it and put it out there because it took so fucking long, fair play to you. Thanks for watching. I hope you're well, stay safe, and I'll talk to you again soon.